What's up, everybody? Welcome to Jin's Talk. Do you see the water in front of me? Let's talk about some conspiracy about water today. As losing control of the global currency system, the United States is grabbing water resources globally and pushing water to be the new currency.
Water has already been widely traded as virtual water. Virtual water is the water embodied in the production of food and non-food commodities. Water is actually invisible, it's hidden all around us. For example, if you take 683 gallons of water, you can grow 6 pounds of hay. While you take this hay to feed a cow, you will only get 1 gallon of milk. It takes 60 liters of water for an apple, while meat takes more. You need 634 gallons to make a hamburger. The clothes you are wearing, the phone you make calls to, and the cars you drive, everything around us all represents a huge amount of water. The U.S. is the largest exporter of virtual water, selling water-intensive products around the world. It is making other water-scarce countries dependent on their supply. The United States exported about 70 million metric tons of corn every year, according to the annual report of USDS. Top export markets include Mexico, China, South Korea. Considering that it takes approximately 450 liters of water to produce 1 kilo of corn, that is an enormous amount of water. The U.S. has started establishing the water trade market. Water, like gold or oil, is now being traded as a commodity by Wall Street. The first of its kind was launched on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange with $1.1 billion in contracts tied to California water prices. Despite scarcity, there is still a large number of government subsidies for irrigation. It makes sense to speculate that there is no scarcity at all. The spreading concern of water scarcity is only to leverage the establishment of the water market. The scheme of water as currency is long-standing and can be dated back to the 1930s. The Dust Bowl of the 1930s is the greatest ecological disaster in U.S. history. It triggered a decade-long series of dust storms. While Texas and the Great Plains faced the water shortage, the rest of the country sank into the Great Depression following the stock market crash of 1929. With a severe disaster, the prices for crops dropped severely due to the depression. Many were forced to leave in search of better farmland. The Dust Bowl gave the U.S. an important lesson about how important the water resource is to the economy. In 1948, the circular flow diagram by Paul Samuelson firstly used water flow to demonstrate cash flow. Shortly after that, the monetary national income analog computer was created in 1949 by the New Zealand economist Bill Phillips to model the national economic processes of the United Kingdom. It was a bizarre and chaotic assemblage of pipes, valves, tanks. The water represented money, while the various controls represented different variables such as bank rates, taxation, and government spending. Let's compare the MONIAC model with ModFlow model, which is widely used by USGS. Active balance was first pumped to the top as the national income. Portions of the flow were then diverted into other systems of tanks. Taxation was subtracted first, sluicing into a system representing government spending, then savings, imports, and so on. Exports, investments, and government spending rejoined the main falls. If we try to replace the economic words with the hydrological words, it is a water circle between aquifer, surface water, and water in the atmosphere. There are also a lot of hidden connections in vocabulary, such as cash flow, cash outlet, stock, money sink, etc., to imply water as currency. It seems economists, together with hydrologists, have been secretly preparing for the water as currency future. Modern economists even pushing more forwards. Modern monetary theory, MMT, is an economic theory that was coined by Australian economist Bill Mitchell in the early 90s. It starts with a bathroom sink. The government controls how much money, or water, is flowing into the economy. Inflation is where the sink overflows. If that happens, you can either slow the flow of water. That means the government has to start slowing the rate of spending, or you can open up the drain and let some of those water out of the economy. And that's what we do when we collect taxes. See? Water and money here have already mixed together. Government is the faucet and the drain. Controlling water actually is controlling money. The Great Depression prompted the United States to establish the gold standard to overcome the economic crisis. However, the global dollar foreign exchange reserves are declining. Under the post-World War II Bretton Woods system, all other currencies were valued in terms of US dollars and were thus indirectly linked to the gold standard. However, after 1974 the system no longer functioned anymore. US government was eager to find a replacement for gold, and that answer is water. Right after the collapse of the Bretton Woods system. In 1978 USGS started to gather water level monitoring data from multiple organizations, and made the groundwater atlas map. The real ambition of the project was to check out how much water storage could be used as a future currency. It's suspicious that even if corn production is keep rising in the US, US-based companies are buying lands around the world. Or we may ask this, is it about buying lands for growing crops? Think about it, they are buying the aquifer beneath the croplands. Look at the countries where all these US companies buying land from: Chile, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia. If we overlap the world aquifer map beneath it, you can see what I mean, right? They are all on the aquifers. After the US company buys land globally, the export network of virtual water will expand, consuming the water of the developing countries, and earning money for the United States. The land grab is operated by the collaboration of transnational companies, governments, and individuals. Cargill, for example, the privately held American Food Corporation, is the world's largest food company. In Colombia, one of the richest countries in freshwater, Cargill bought a large area of farming land many times bigger than the legal limit by setting up dozens of shell companies. The Cargill land purchases in Colombia are equivalent to about 4 times the area of Minneapolis. In Brazil, Cargill is linked to land grabs in Brazil's Cerrado. In collaboration with local agricultural producer SLC, US investor TIAA, and other actors are emerging to be part of the deal. More than 1.7 million hectares of Cerrado are controlled by foreign business groups. That represents an area more than 10 times the size of Los Angeles. In 2013, a separate study in the Proceedings of the National Academies of Sciences found that foreign investors frequently buy tracts of land that have ample supplies of fresh water, through either local rainfall or underground aquifers. It's already an open secret to link land with water. From Wikipedia's entry on land grabbing. Obtaining water resources is usually critical to land acquisitions, so it has also led to an associated trend of water grabbing. As Fred Pierce wrote in his book The Land Grabber, land grabbing will affect who eats and who does not, who gets richer and who gets poorer, and whether agrarian societies can exist outside corporate control. It is the new battle over who owns the planet. Government agencies, on the other hand, are involved to provide guidance and reports. NASA, for example, has shifted emphasis from its technological achievements to its role within the larger environmental movement in the 1970s. The first theme focused on the use of space-based remote sensing and evolved a set of satellites that can be seen as environmental satellites. The blue marble shows a vulnerable planet we are living on and a limitation of a total natural resources. The launch of GRACE is monitoring the major aquifers and groundwater depletion around the world, collecting water storage data, and providing guidance as reference for land grabbing. News and research are spreading the concern that the U.S. Corn Belt is moving north. Joshua Elliott, a University of Chicago climate change researcher, envisions a possible future in which corn can no longer be profitably grown in much of the American South. Another research group from Columbia University predicts a future drying in the Corn Belt region with machine learning models, which also calls on a move for the croplands. However, these are all actually giving excuses for these companies to have legitimacy, and they are spreading their lands purchase around the world. Supported by the academy, social media, and capitalism, the United States is triggering turbulence, affecting the base of the world economy. So what will happen next? Water will be the ideal currency after it is universally acceptable. With American companies controlling most of the main groundwater resources worldwide, the United States will have the chance to reclaim its position in the world economy.
Thank you for watching this video. If you are interested in conspiracy, click the link here, and don't forget to subscribe me. I will see you all next time.